volleyball, so it is a true honor to be part of the Hall of Fame committee and be with you tonight. I wanted to welcome all of you for tonight's celebration. It's been a few years since we've all been together, and so just really appreciative that we're actually gathered in one space together and lots of hugs and memories to share. I want to just acknowledge that we're gathered on the ancestral and unceded territories of the Hunkaminam and Squamish-speaking peoples. These lands have long been home to the Musqueam, Ottlin, Katzie, Tawasin, and Coquitlam First Nations. These communities whose deep connection to these lands and waters continue today. As we come together through a sport built on teamwork, respect, and shared purpose, we do so with gratitude to the Indigenous peoples who have lived and played here since time immemorial, and with a commitment to sharing these same values forward in everything that we do. I also want to recognize that today is National Indigenous Veterans Day, which honors the contributions that Indigenous peoples have to the Canadian military service. And with that, I know you're hungry, I know you want more drinks, but first, I'm going to bring up the President of Volleyball BC, Jake Cabot.
Thank you, Chrissy, for agreeing to do this. Really excited. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to everybody to the 2025 Volleyball BC Hall of Fame and Excellence Awards Gala. It is, as Chrissy said, absolutely fantastic to see all of you, and I actually mean see you in person. This is our first in-person awards night since 2020. So Brenda, and most of you know Brenda, just remember, Brenda, if you want to have a nap, you can't just turn your camera off, okay? We're in person. This evening is special for a few reasons. 2025 marks Volleyball BC's 60th anniversary. So that's 6 decades of building programs, hosting tournaments, and creating opportunities for people across the province to discover and fall in love with our sport. It's also the 10th anniversary of our Hall of Fame, which began as part of our 50th year as a way to honor the people whose contributions to volleyball in BC stand the test of time. I also want to acknowledge especially the 2024 Hall of Fame inductees who were selected last year but didn't get their moment on stage because we weren't able to hold this event. So we're proud to celebrate them tonight. We have one big, long overdue celebration of excellence. I'll admit this year's inductees class hits a bit close to home for me. 2 of our inductees, Britt and Fred, are from my generation. So when I joined the awards committee this year, I told the group that I thought it was a little strange that we were inducting athletes who were clearly still in their prime. That's obviously sarcasm, but look, it's a real privilege to see friends and teammates recognized this way, and it reminds us why this Hall of Fame is important. Tonight we're celebrating the full spectrum of volleyball in British Columbia, from grassroots volunteers, community builders, who make local programs possible, all the way to people who have represented our province and our country at the highest levels of our sport. That range in our connected community, it's what makes volleyball in BC very special. So to our players, coaches, refs, volunteers, families, you are the reason this sport thrives. Your commitment and passion keep it growing year after year. And to our awards committee, thank you very much for your dedication over the past decade in preserving and celebrating excellence in volleyball. Tonight is about excellence, but it's also about connection, about gratitude, about recognizing 60 years of volleyball in this province. Thank you all so much for being here, being a part of the celebration. Enjoy the night, enjoy the stories, enjoy the recognition of everything, and have a great night. Thank you.
recognize athletes and teams who exemplify excellence on the court, on the sand, and within their communities. They would represent the very best of dedication, teamwork, and community building in our province. So our first award is for Female Athlete of the Year Indoor, Ryan Scott. And my lovely assistant is the beautiful Adrienne Murphy. And if you didn't notice, there's a big backdrop out in the lobby. If you went straight to the bar and missed it, there's a beautiful backdrop for all your photo needs. So please do visit there after. I think, Adrienne, you're staying with me.
We need to send her a
Oh, sure. Thought you were leaving. The next award is for Female Athlete of the Year Outdoor. And I believe she traveled quite some distance to come here, Mia Stevens. Our next award was not able to be here unless he snuck in somewhere. The next award was for Male Athlete of the Year Indoor, which is Miles Hiscox. So we'll keep going with Male Athlete of the Year Outdoor. Congratulations, Jacob Hughes. We have two more awards in the athlete category for excellence awards. We have Youth Team of the Year Indoor, which is, I'm going to tell you in a second, but first, let me say, this group demonstrated incredible teamwork, a way of capturing gold medal finish at both the 2025 BC Provincials as well as Youth Nationals. Congratulations, 17U Rain City Riptide girls.
All right, let's get a row in front and behind, please. Maybe that won't work. Just to stand. Yeah, there you go.
Right in front, so we get the perfect photo. That's the one that's going on all the big social media, so let's get that one. And then we'll smile for the parents after. Okay, everybody on, right? Wait, we're doing paper rounds. This is gonna be perfect. 3, 2, 1 for Brett. Okay, parents, go wild. I think we got it. And we got a cheer ladder. I know you can do it. Okay, coaches, hundreds of hours off the court, time away from family. So Christina, you can use this one, or I can give you the other one. And Christina had the distinct pleasure of having me as one of the parents of the children she was coaching this year, so that's why she's winning the award, because she had to deal with me.
What a shock! Thank you so much to Volleyball BC for this excellent recognition, something I wasn't expecting at all. But I mean, it's been a really short journey for me so far. It's been 3 years coaching. Very, very fortunate to be part of the Airtap Volleyball Club based at Richmond, BC. Very thankful for the admin team to have given me the opportunity and also helped nurture me as well as a young coach and new coach. And then also for Volleyball BC's time and dedication in terms of creating the female mentorship program. That really helped give me the confidence and the skills I needed to really take my coaching up to the next level. Ryan Adams has been great with all of his coach development as well. And then of course I have my family, my husband Stuart for all the support. As Christy had mentioned, a lot of time has been spent for supporting myself and all the time away from home, financial freedom for me to leave work and spend more time doing what I love, which is coaching and starting my own business and volleyball development, coaching and injury prevention. And my girls as well, who I just love coaching. So thank you so much.
Speaking or not, I guess I'll just whip something up. Okay, Christina. Knocked it out of the park. The next coach, I'm pretty sure is not here unless they quickly took a helicopter. Female Coach of the Year, 16U, Michelle Hilke from Nelson. This coaching with the Female Coach of the Year for 18U. You might have a hint because they won Team of the Year from Rain City, Sarah Camilo. Okay, well, you all know how much I love speaking in public. First of all, I would like to thank Volleyball BC for this honor. I'm truly grateful for it. I would also like to thank Jenny Robinson, our club director, who provides an environment of a club that us coaches can thrive in, handling all of the tedious jobs that we don't want to do. I would also like to thank our parents for the support that they give to their athletes so that they can perform at their best and compete at their best for us every single day. I would also like to thank my assistant coaching staff, Abby and Brian. I don't have to say it, but I love you all, and you are a great support system for me throughout the season. Girls, I don't know, where are you? There you are. It has truly been a privilege coaching you this last season. We've always talked about 18U, but I guess it was 17U. So our dreams, our goals, your buy-in, your work, your commitment to excellence, we truly appreciate it. And finally, my husband, who has supported me all this time, and listening to my endless volleyball stories. I appreciate everything that you do to make it possible for me to follow my passion. Thank you. I think drinks on Rain City here because you've got
the encouragement they've given me. I'd also like to thank two of my biggest mentors, Chris Densmore, who's sitting over there, and my mom, Josie Webb. She coached me my entire career. They've both played a huge role in shaping my passion for the sport and the way I approach coaching. Their guidance and examples remind me that a great coach doesn't just teach volleyball, that they build people. And finally, I want to acknowledge my athletes. This award really is a reflection of their effort, energy, and love for the game. So, thank you so much.
Male Coach of the Year for 16U from the Ducks is Warren Sackerson. And there's some Ducks here, so make sure, maybe let's give a larger round of applause so that Brian can tell him that we actually stepped up our game in the cheerleading. I also wanted to do that delay so that the next person had to really sweat it out a few extra minutes before he has to come up here. The Male Coach of the Year for 18U, a guy that's been around the game maybe almost as long as me, Chris Dahl from Momentum.
Okay, I'll take a minute. Thank you to Volleyball BC for the opportunities that they've provided over a number of years and continue to provide. Much appreciated. And because she's here, I'd like to thank my wife for all of the support. Over the years. Not just because she's here. This is the third volleyball event that she's joined me at, but it breaks the trend. The first two, one was in Florida, one was in California, so I don't know how this one fits in, but I'm really thankful that you're here and with me. And then last, I want to congratulate the other recipients of the awards this evening, and especially our Hall of Fame inductees for the sport here. Congratulations is more than in order. And I also feel really fortunate to receive this recognition in the presence of Vic Lindell, a Hall of Fame member with Volleyball BC, someone who's a long-time been a mentor, coach of mine, going back about 25 years, Vic. And earlier this week, Vic presented our high school team with the Vic Lindell Cup. So any week you receive 2 awards in Vic Lindell's presence, I think is a good week. Thank you.
So 2 final awards in the coach category. We have the Coach Development Award, which recognizes a club that's made significant contributions to developing and supporting coaches across all levels. So I'll take the representative from the Mariners Volleyball Club. So this is Chris Densmore representing Mariners, and it's interesting he got thanked by our young coach that came up as well. So very well deserved on the development award.
All right. Here you go, Chris.
You should still take your paperwork. Realtors love paperwork, and it's just all electronic now. And finally, our Rising Star Coach of the Year recognizes an outstanding young coach under the age of 25 who's making a strong impact early in their career. So congratulations to the coach from Seaside, Greg Moore.
some of the other words for the coaches. I'll thank Volleyball BC for this honor. I also want to thank Seaside Volleyball Club and Douglas College, who I've been coaching with recently, for the opportunities that I've had. And I'm just happy to be able to give back to a community that has given me so much that I got through as a player and now as a coach as well. And finally, I shout out my partner Abby, who puts up with me being gone most nights and most weekends coaching volleyball. Thank you.
Another drink and dessert, and I'll see you soon. referees come back, and so we have to be extra nice to our referees to make sure that they keep coming back. Otherwise, it's going to be chaos on the courts if we don't have our referees. So extra special appreciation. So round of applause for all our referees in our system. So these honorees were selected. They demonstrate professionalism, commitment, and a passion for growing the sport at every level. My beautiful assistant is Glenn Wheatley, who most of you know. Almost everyone knows. Glenn. Our first recognition is for the Female Leadership in Refereeing Award. So congratulations to Faith Rompane. I think she's busy working and not able to be here tonight. So our next award is for the Developing Referee of the Year. Congratulations to Jake Coxworth. And no, we're not making the referees speak. They said they speak with their whistle. Congratulations. Next, we're going to recognize the Referee of the Year. So this is a big award. So congratulations, Leanne Wong. Wait, one for the parents. Parents, come back. Let's get a family, come back. Grab another photo. Oh, there he is. He's got it. You can do the IG story. Dale, my dear friend Dale Savage, if you can come up. Dale is an incredible mentor of mine. I'm so glad she's here. I'm really like emotional. I love Dale so much of what she has done for this sport in this province. For me as a person, for my daughters, creating space for us to be in the sport. So, huge round of applause for Dale Savage. All of you in this category. Dale, we admire you so much, and I'm so glad I got to convince you to come up on stage. As under the condition, I would not make her speak, but up on the stage. Thank you, Dale. Because of this incredible person that we have up here, Steve Hewitson, please come to the stage and accept your award. These are the Excellence Awards for Sport Development. Oh, jacket came back on, it's official. These final set of awards recognize clubs and individuals who've made remarkable contributions to the growth and development of volleyball in BC. Thank you, Adrian, again for coming back on the stage. Our first recognition is Club of the Year for small clubs. They're not able to be here, so a little bit of audience participation. Okay, he's getting a good camera. So I'll chat while you're grabbing that, Brett. So unfortunately, the Nelson Volleyball Club was not able to make it all the way here. Don't worry, we've got our chance. We're gonna go big celebration. So I'm gonna just ask for your help in sending them a big congratulations on behalf of the entire room. You're gonna be on camera, so take the broccolini out of the team. Brett is gonna give you a little bit of a video. So one time only, no retakes. This is live, you've got one shot to make it. I'm going to announce that it's the Nelson Volleyball Club. I'm going to give you a 3, 2, 1 countdown, and you're going to say, "Congratulations, Nelson Volleyball Club." Got it? No rehearsals, this is it, this is live. Bring your full Blue Jays energy, sorry, Blue Jays like we just won, the Vladdy hit a home run, that's the kind of energy that I want to see in the room. So Brett, are you ready?
We're good.
Okay, so I'm going to do the announcement. 3, 2, 1. Nelson, congratulations, Nelson Volleyball Club. Ready? So the Club of the Year for small category is the Nelson Volleyball Club. So congratulations. 3, 2, 1. Congratulations, Nelson Volleyball Club. Keep that same energy rolling for our Club of the Year large category for our friends from Ducks Volleyball Club. Right? And we had, I keep saying final award, almost final award in this category. It's our Club Director of the Year. Unfortunately, they couldn't be here either. From the Lake Country Volleyball Club, Club Director of the Year, Yannick Eichnar. Congratulations. So I think we're supposed to have a break for coffee, but the incredible Brett and Chelsea have given me the task of keeping us on time so that we can have lots of socializing part after. So Jerry, if you want to come up, we can move to the next section. So welcome our Hall of Fame committee member, long-standing, keeping us going through COVID and everything, Jerry Story.
This doesn't get said very often, but oh my God, isn't she good at this job? Chrissy Vance, thank you. This is starting to feel like a family reunion, every one of these nights we're doing. It's absolutely terrific. Glad to see everybody. Congratulations tonight to all of the Excellence Award winners and the Hall of Fame members. And I'm really honored to say that 3 of the Hall of Fame members are teammates of mine. Ian Gregory, where is Mike Sayers? Mike Sayers and the great Al Kostick. We were all teammates at one time. There's a whole bunch of us over there as well too. Walter Jensen, Trey Russell, Keith Gallicano. Well, we could actually form a team if we all got together this afternoon. Is there a team that could fit us into a uniform? I'm going to say no. I've been part of the Hall for 9 years, just right after the first one, and it's been absolutely an honor to be part of this. We've been led by, of course, Emma Gibbons, but we've also really been the glue has been Dorami Elling. Where's Dorami? I've said the name Dorami so many times in the last 9 years, and one time I was sitting there and just sort of I was going to do re mi. And I said to Dorothy, I said, do you know your name's like a musical kind of lyric? She goes, of course, dumbass. My mother's a music teacher, and she called me do re mi, do ra mi. So that's her moniker. I think it's one of the coolest things I've heard in a long time. Quite a few years as we've been doing this, one of the things that became really apparent, to me at least at the time, and a lot of people have come on board with this, is that we have the Hall of Fame, we have the giant of the giants that are in there. Fred Winters tonight, we've had somebody here who's played, Greg Russell over there, Keith Galliano. And what we never really had was a way of honoring those born and bred and played their youth volleyball in BC. We had no way of honoring them once they became a national team member and then moved on to wherever they moved on to. There's no list that says these people from British Columbia played for the national team. And I thought that deserves recognition. It really does. I mean, we're talking about the giant of the giants over here, the Fred Winters of the world, Greg Russell down there. But there's no way there's a list that we can find of the people that have played for Canada, born and bred here, and have gone on to play, gone on to play for Canada, and actually have a list of them. So we came up with a brainchild, and we're always expanding and doing things with Volleyball BC. This is kind of a derivative from the Hall of Fame. It's not the Hall of Fame, but it is a derivative of it. And we have created a new list, a new category within Volleyball BC, and it's called the Wall of Distinction. And we're starting with men's and women's, all of the players who grew up in British Columbia, all of the players who have born and bred here and did their youth volleyball, that eventually ultimately made it to the representing their country. We're calling this the Wall of Distinction. And it's a really cool initiative that we've pushed forward, and I'm just going to find my little notes here because I moved all over the place. It's made to be expandable. It's like an accordion type of file folder with all the names. I'm working directly with Brett. Where's our communications director, Brett? I can't see him. Help me? Yeah, there. And he has created a wonderful web page that's going to be opened and announced in the next couple of months. He's on holidays, and it'll happen in December or the New Year. And you're going to be able to go on, and Fred, you know these names more than anybody, but it's people like Steve Marshall and Gord Perrin and some of these terrific players that we don't want anybody to forget about, male and female. And I've had exceptional help from Rob Reimer from UBC. He's got a list of all the ladies that went through there. Got incredible help from Pat Henley from TRU, who contacted Ben Josephson. We've really had to dig hard to do this, and so we will have an actual spot on the website so that these players, their coaches, their students, their whatever happens to be, their parents can look on and say, there's my child. And I just think it's a really cool initiative to bring forward and to actually make happen here. So, a new place to visit, it will be on the website. As I say, we will announce it through Volleyball BC. Details of exactly how you get to it will be done with a link. We'll show you how to do that. But anyway, I think it's great. This is an expansion. Now, next year, we will look at all the beach players that have gone through grassroots and put them on the site. We will continue to do it until we have everybody who has represented Canada that's part of our grassroots British Columbia program. And I just think it's a terrific initiative, and I look forward to it. We're going to come up, we're going to make mistakes, but the only mistakes will be because we missed a few people. And so those of you who go on and say, oh, you know who you forgot? And then you can contact us and say, make sure that that person's in there way past that. So lastly, second to last, I just want to say, one of my duties is to be up here and beg for nominations. Well, 24, 25, 25, we have a full packed house here, and that's why all of this is condensed. And you're doing your job. You people who are doing the nominations, Volleyball BC thanks you in a huge way. We got a little skinny one time trying to get people to get enthused to do it, but it's alive and well and thrive. Congratulations to everybody. So that's the wall of distinction. And with the wall of distinction, I'm going to do one more little note here. There are people who have been major contributors to volleyball that there's no category to go in the Hall of Fame or the Volleyball BC or anything. There's no category, but they deserve to be there. Sorry, I forgot to mention Shane and Marianne Hillman as people who worked really hard and gave me a zillion years. When they put their cheeks together, they're one incredible encyclopedia of people in volleyball for British Columbia. So thanks you two for sure. So one of the things that we have every once in a while is we have a category or we have an individual that doesn't fit a category, but oh my God, you know, they've done so much for volleyball. And so we're going to do that, but at this point in time, Ray Myrtle, where's Raymond? Is Raymond here? He's here or something. That's not Ray Myrtle, that's somebody that looks like Ray Myrtle. Oh yes, it is Ray Myrtle. Ray Myrtle, Hall of Fame builder category, and a zillion other things. A Hall of Fame team member of my team, the BC Olympics, way back when. In 1982, I'll try to be really fast here, 72, a fellow named Mr. Kikuchi was brought over from Japan to help teach volleyball in British Columbia. There's a bunch of people who have been touched by that man. He just passed away a month or two ago. And he is an example of some Hall of Fame coaches that could actually attest to it that said volleyball in BC would not have advanced at the rate it did in the mid-70s, or the early to mid-70s, if it wasn't for him. So we're going to do up a nice picture and a nice bio of Mr. Kikuchi, a terrific individual who devoted a lot of his life. And I don't know if anybody remembers the name Randy Wagner, terrific player out of British Columbia. Al Kostiak used to actually go to Japan just to be with him, just to absorb and bring back that knowledge that Ray has done, brought back the knowledge and imparted to people at camps. I met Mr. Kikuchi as a grade 10, 1972 at the Winfield camp. And if anybody knows Mike Rockwell or heard of Mike Rockwell, Mike was a young, probably the best spiker in Canada at the time. And Mr. Kikuchi wore him out because he said he had the greatest arm swing that anybody had ever seen outside of Japan. So a huge influence, and we're going to have spots like that, but we just have to figure out exactly where they fit in. But for the first non-player to go on the wall of distinction will be Mr. Kikuchi. And the rest of them are all players, male and female, who are representing Canada. So the next 6-8 weeks, stay tuned for the link that will be sent out either via the volleyball newsletter or we'll figure out some other way. But that's our Wall of Distinction, the newest initiative and venture for Volleyball BC. Thanks everyone for listening.
We are going to take a little break, grab a cocktail, washrooms are out and around the corner, and we're going to come back at 8:20. I'm talking like we're in a workshop, but around 8:20 I'm going to be asking you to please sit down. So get refreshed and we're going to come back and celebrate all of our Hall of Fame. So see you back in a few. and inspiration in all the stories, and we only are getting a snippet of what these incredible people have done and contributed to not just volleyball, but our communities and raising good humans. Can't say enough about the people we're going to be talking about tonight, and I'm more excited to hear more about their stories and what they're going to say. So first, we have two athletes in the 2024 category. So first is Mike Sayers, athlete. Mike's enjoyed a remarkable volleyball career spanning nearly 5 decades, excelling in both indoor and beach disciplines. He played university at Dalhousie and was a member of the 1978 BCO Club National Championship team. And for the young folks in the room, you need to go back and look at what National Championships was back in this era. It was not 1,000 teams. It was a very tiny group of people. National Championships was a huge deal and incredibly hard to even make a team that could make it there. So let's do a little bit of history when we understand sort of these different eras. On the beach, Mike captured multiple BC provincial titles, including several alongside his fellow inductee, Mr. Ian Gregory. And he represented Canada at dozens of international tournaments. He's had a highly accomplished Masters beach career, earning numerous medals and showcasing his enduring skill, passion, and commitment to the sport. Beyond his impressive playing career, Mike has contributed to volleyball as a mentor, a coach, an ambassador, inspiring athletes across generations and leaving a legacy that reflects both excellence and dedication to the game. We're going to play the video, and then Mike, you can find your way up here to the stage.
Everything you can imagine, I sort of tested myself, seeing what I was good at, what I was strong at, anything from track and field to table tennis to volleyball, of course, basketball was a big part of my life. But I remember in Summerside, I took my first camp. It was an outdoor camp, and it was in volleyball. Met a couple of really interesting characters there that taught me the sport. And that's where I kind of introduced myself to volleyball. I took my best friend and we decided, well, what are we going to do with our lives? And our immediate focus was to play volleyball. So we got into my 73 Super Beetle, light blue Super Beetle, and we drove across all the way through Canada. And I phoned Ryan Watson, and I was very kind of anxious to get set up in the city. And his first two questions were, well, how tall are you? And what position do you play? So it wasn't a welcoming response that I was hoping for, but he was got to the point, and that's what he had in his mind all the time, was volleyball. So he came and we tried out, and the rest is history. I was made for beach volleyball. I can even say back to when I was a little one. I used to run around the sands in Prince Edward Island because there's beautiful beaches in PEI. I used to run all the time up and down the sand dunes and through the waves. So I know that I had sand legs already from when I was a little guy. So I was very honored, overwhelmed, and just thinking in the back of my mind of all the friends and people that I've met through the years.
So congratulations, Mike Sayers.
Hello everyone. I can't help but think that this ramp was built for me. So I'm not talk to anybody. I sit away from the stairs over there. Just have a few notes. I held my dinner in the back room because I didn't want to fill my stomach up before the speech. I got a little nervous. So, welcome everyone. It's actually nice to meet and celebrate and talk in person. Many friends and members that it's even just talking in break time. Meet everybody. When I found out that I was being inducted, memories kept flooding into my mind in preparation for the speech. I imagined myself as a musician with an inspiration for a song, and at the moment placed all the lyrics on the back of a napkin. This, of course, is referring to my speech tonight. It's either going to be a #1 hit, or didn't even make it in the top 100. It's an honor to be in the same inductee year as my good friend Ian Gregory, a teammate, beach partner, and friend. Well deserved, Ian. For Ian, there should be another category as builder/athlete, because he was one heck of a player as well. Since I have the podium, I would like to take this moment in mentioning my family who are here tonight. My lovely wife, my stability and balance in life during our 42 years, 3 months, 28 days of marriage. Well, it was coming. I don't know if it's coming for me that I made it, or her that she actually survived this long. My beautiful daughter, Michelle, and the youngest, my son, Mitchell, who was floating around videotaping this event tonight, so smile. I couldn't mention many names tonight, but I don't want to leave anybody out. You know who you are, and all special in my life. As I now continue, here are some memorable moments in no particular order. I came from the Squish Regional High School in PEI, playing volleyball. It's hard to find on the map. Possibly smaller than Revelstoke, which everybody knows. I said it would be a great, we had a great team, and I wonder what would happen if we played against each other for the Canadian High School Championships. I wonder. Another note is another thing that's just things I remember playing in Saskatoon Super Volley tournament. It was so cold. There were tunnels going from the gym to where you were sleeping or living at the time. If you went outside, your nostrils would close up. It was so close. Little was mentioned about the BCO after winning the Canadian Senior Men's Championship in 1978. Everybody talks about it. But the following year, we actually came second in Toronto. What I remember is receiving our medals from Bruno Teruzzi. He was the main actor from a hit TV show series, Beachcombers, filmed right here in BC during the 70s and 80s. So that was my special thing. Who cares if I won or not? I get to meet Bruno. It was always a special occasion to be invited to the indoor MAC tournament in Portland, Oregon. It was the only way to get into this exclusive facility by invitation. It was like a first-class resort. They always put on a great banquet after the tournament. They said that at the tournament we had to go play in the green gym. And they said, green gym? What's the green gym? And we went in there and the whole gym was just green. And walls, the ceiling. And I said, what's this used for? They said, it's the badminton. Right, so you can see badminton birds flying all over the place. And you get it because it's a great contrast against the green walls. I said it worked in volleyball too, because you could see the contrast of volleyball against the green walls. So that was excellent. In the early 80s, winning the provincial men's volleyball, beach volleyball doubles won a berth into the World Championships of Beach Volleyball in California. That gave an international flair to the event, but would not happen again. As the sport grew, you had to play the circuit to accumulate points to receive a berth into it. So we were very fortunate to be involved with at least 2 World Beach Championships before it got so popular that we weren't able to get. You'd have to actually live there and play before you get to play in the World Championships. Will Chamberlain, a renowned NBA basketball player, also could play some good volleyball and would often enjoy visiting Vancouver and hang out with us at Kitsilano Beach. After participating in one of our beach tournaments at Kitsilano, I had the task of driving all 7 foot 2 inches of him to a restaurant for prime rib. I had a big car, Malibu Classic, and with the seat all the way back, his knees were still hitting the dashboard. We made it there safely, and he did enjoy his meal. After the warm summer months, we were looking at playing volleyball indoors during the winter months. We found an old warehouse in East Vancouver, and put sand courts in it. Sometimes we could play at 11, 12, or even 1 a.m. Boy, it was cold because the metal walls had no insulation. It was a shell of a building, but it was ours to play in. Now we have a six-pack volleyball facility on Mitchell Island. So it just gives you a little idea of the start of what we did for beach. Good camping trips to Seaside along the Oregon coast, which a lot of people remember, winning the six-man division at Seaside. It was a huge tournament, the biggest in North America. Sports tourism is a big business, and why not? Can't beat going to different places, seeing the sights, and playing top-level volleyball. Been to the first World Masters event in Edmonton, Alberta, and later Turin, Italy, where I was able to also visit Rome and other cities in Europe in the same trip. We came second that year in Turin, just losing out to the Italians. Reffing. Oh, sorry. U.S. Open in New Orleans and Minnesota. I can remember New Orleans going on these crocodile excursion, and the captain of the ship was throwing out raw chicken so the alligators would come up and give us a show. That was an event. That's what I remember from that. Senior volleyball events in St. George's, Utah, Global Cup, playing indoors against teams from Russia, Poland. They would often pay for teams outside, like in Russia and Poland, to actually come and play in Georgia, Utah, to give it a much higher profile tournament. There were some excellent games played there. And they had the first beach volleyball tournament, and we won the first and only time the doubles title ever happened. Because the organizer for the beach tournament, we were playing outside, there was very bad weather and there was lightning storms. And the organizer said to me, my son was struck by lightning. So he was very paranoid to play, and it's probably why that's the reason why there's no more beach doubles happening. I have future plans to participate in 2027 World Masters in Japan. That's in 2020, yeah, that's coming up pretty fast. I've got to get out there. And another trip to play 4-man beach tournament in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. I'm still waiting for a particular person, because I'm not naming any names, to give us the go-ahead on that trip. I would like to include some honorable mentions. Volleyball camps as coach counselor at Williams Lake for younger players, as well as Shawinigan Lake camp for adults. See, adults even went to summer camps to play volleyball. I tried out for the Canadian men's national team, but didn't cut it as a 6'2" middle blocker. I did, however, receive my national level beach volleyball refereeing badge. With great partners, I was able to win the BC provincial double at least 5 times over the years. I think in the brochure it says 7 times, so I stand to be corrected there. My wife says, I don't see that, you're bragging. I said, no, I put it in anyways. Kelowna Grassroots, where Alberta players met BC players and fought hard to win at least once. And competition, mixed co-ed, indoors at Hugh Boyd Secondary and Bonser Community Center. Now we're getting personal because a lot of people may not know these schools. Outdoor clay courts at Jericho with the Czechoslovakians. Sunday morning beach volleyball at Kitsilano, indoor drop, as well as league play at Harry Jones Sports Center. I wouldn't have lived through the whole moment as far as the history goes without saying that I played grass triples with my wife, grass reverse doubles with my daughter, and beach doubles with my son. Not in the same day. I want to thank everyone involved in the selection process and being inducted as an athlete that represents volleyball in BC during this window of time. I have looked back upon the names in the Volleyball BC Hall of Fame, and I'm honored to be now part of that list. Thank you for being here tonight, and enjoy this gala.
to athletes, but you addressed it that Ian is quite an athlete, but you're actually going into the builder category. Ian Gregory has dedicated a lifetime to volleyball in BC, leaving an indelible mark as an athlete, a coach, administrator, and a passionate advocate for the sport. On the court, Ian achieved remarkable success at every level, as mentioned with the BCO club that captured the 1978 National Championship, which was inducted into our Hall of Fame. During his 5-year university career with the UBC Thunderbirds, he helped lead to a CAU national title and multiple Canada West championships. He also excelled in beach volleyball, as we've noted, winning several beach championships in the 70s alongside with fellow inductee. Off the court, Ian has made a lasting impact on the growth and governance of sport, serving 15 years with Volleyball BC, including terms as treasurer and president, and contributing to the Sport BC board. His leadership and mentorship and vision have helped shape volleyball across the province, fostering opportunities for generations of athletes, coaches, and officials. And on a personal note, I got to work with Ian when his team went into the UBC Sports Hall of Fame, and he was a huge driver of that. And when I think of a builder, I think of people that lift other people up and connect, and Ian definitely has done that, leading mentorship programs with the men's team, who's been very successful, but also really rallying for his team to be inducted into the Hall of Fame when their teammate Walter Jansen had terminal cancer. And the way that Ian and many of the teammates came together is what a builder is. And so I really congratulate Ian Gregory, who will enjoy the video. Round of applause, and then Ian, your turn to talk.
First of all, big congratulations to Ian that he is going to be inducted. It was an honor and a pleasure for me to nominate Ian. Not the most vocal or out there guy. I didn't need the credit, but he was really a really solid and great teammate for all of us at the UBC in those days. And then of course Ian went on to contribute in a lot of ways as a supporter of volleyball at UBC, as a president of Volleyball BC itself. It was back in the BCBA days, and a lot of other ways that Ian's contributed. But first and foremost, great player, been a friend of mine for a long time, and really, really pleased to see him being inducted.
I was actually invited to a place where we had 4 players, and Ian was one of them, and they welcomed us into their home. It was a small little house, but we all got along and we got together and found a place to call our own in that little place. And it was very supportive as far as me being established and getting established in BC. We went and we played, like I said, with the BCO team, where again it was a very big event where we even brought us closer, and then we played as the beach partners and we won the provincial championships one year. So yes, he's always been part of my volleyball here at BC, and always will be my friend.
Congratulations, Ian. And your teammates stole your extra minutes, so you're going to have to compensate for your team to get any noise.
Thank you. Today, this is not my script, but my daughter's family came up from California and told me that my granddaughter tried out for the team and was the first one selected for the team. So she's 10 years old, can serve overhand. Grandpa, better than a little guy over there, my goodness. I want to talk about friendship, so we've been talking about that today. To me, volleyball is more than a sport. It's about all the friendships and communities And I'm going to mention a few of the people today that had an impact in early days. You know, Mike, you're talking a lot about the history. We're going back decades, and every time I talk about volleyball, my partner Deb says, like, how many decades ago was that? So, for a lot of you younger people, volleyball's acceptance accelerated after the 1984 Olympics. And Tom, you were there, right? The US won and became huge. But in Canada, 1976 Olympics were in Montreal, and the finals were the USSR versus Poland. It was on CBC, and it went 5 sets. And I was working as a university student, I was working in a camp outside Yellowknife. And the next day I went into town, and all these people that knew I played at UBC said, "Did you see that match last night? They preempted the national news." You know, and the USSR lost to Poland. It was amazing. But it was nobody had ever seen it. You know, they'd been in grade 5 volleyball or something like that. But to have the CBC national news preempted was amazing. The other thing that would happen is when you move to a new town, for me it was Portland, Oregon, you would go out and you'd find that they were playing volleyball somewhere, and you'd kind of watch, and then they would notice you and you'd say, "Would you mind if we kind of play?" And they're going, "Well, you know, this is power volleyball." And so you'd say, "Well, can we give it a try?" And they'd let you play, and by the end of the night, they were asking you to play on their team in the tournament on the weekend. And the same thing if you're at Lake Chelan or something like that, they're playing outside. The same thing, it's power volleyball. What can we play? Oh, okay. And then at the end of the day, your partner is saying, "Look, there's a beach tournament here on the weekend. Can you stick around and play?" And in that method, in that way, you made friends all over the place. So, for me, volleyball started at Tom Jones's from Mission. Mike Rockwell, some of you may know, is from Mission. I did my elementary school in Mission, and I think I was in grade 6. And Mike Rockwell's team was in high school, and they were winning the provincial championships. But it just got everybody enthralled in volleyball. And we played 9-man volleyball in grade 6, where you just kind of zigzag around and stuff like that. In grade 7, I moved to Dawson Creek, and up there you played every sport. You played basketball. I think we went to 2 high school championships. We played the first junior high school championship in BC. We went to 2 volleyball championships. And in those days, we would lose to Jerry Story's team for almost no guys. And Mike Saris, you wouldn't have had a chance against Roscoe. They played university teams. They were good. So, anyway, the friendships do last forever. And when we have kids and they grow up, many of them will eventually try volleyball, and we will switch to trying our luck at coaching. And then at that point, Vale, the red cards, the yellow cards we used to get would stay in the referees' pockets because we learned the referees were important. Right? It's true. I think in the late 80s, maybe the early 90s, came back to BC, and Boris Isaac and Charles Parkinson asked me to sit on the board of what was then the BC Volleyball Association. And I was excited to work with those guys. And when I got to my first meeting in September, I was a little disappointed because Boris had moved on to Volleyball Canada and Charles Parkinson had taken the job in Victoria with the provincial government. But in stepped Tom Caverly. Where's Tom? Back there as the new executive director. And Hugh Wong is the new chair of volleyball at BC. And volleyball thrived with those 2 in place. And new friendships were formed. It was fantastic. And that's probably why I stayed on for 15 years. I talk about coaches. Coaches were very important in my life. When I was a kid on Mission, it was soccer. And then in volleyball in Dawson Creek, it was, who did we have? We had Howie Ellis, Gordy Hay, and then Al Scott. Mike, did you know Al Scott? No. He coached at UVic. Well, actually, he didn't know much about volleyball, but he liked volleyball, so he
guess I do know him. He took the MG to Dalhousie.
Yeah.
Across Canada.
Right.
Coached at Dalhousie University.
All right.
Is that the same guy?
Yeah.
But he liked volleyball so much that he went and talked to John Campbell and figured out how to coach. Ended up at UVic, coached their program, then switched to Dalhousie. Al's still a good friend. When Tom and Jerry, when they told me I was going into the Hall of Fame, it was a couple of years ago, I didn't believe it because there's a guy named Tom Graham who had asked me to write a letter supporting the nomination or the induction of Al Scott. And as Jerry told me that he didn't qualify because he didn't stick around BC long enough, but he was also inducted in, I think, Halifax or the Nova Scotia Hall of Fame. The other coaches, when I got to UBC, I had Gail Oman over there as my coach in my first year. And at the end of the first year, I asked Gail if he was coming back the next year, and he said, no. I said, why not? He said, because of you and Charlie. And in fact, it wasn't, I had him for 1 year, and Ray left for 2 years, and I always thought that Ray left gargled with vodka in the morning. But, is that true? Anyway, we had a guy on our team that was in the PE faculty. You can see a guy named Tim Frick, who's Order of Canada now. And Tim kind of ran the program, which is, that was true. And then the final 2 years, we had a guy named Lawrence Sawula, who had come, he'd been coaching at Dalhousie, women's team. Came out, coached the men's team at UBC, took us to a national championship first year, second place in the second year. And he springboarded to national team coach for the women. And then as Mike was saying, at BCO, and by the way, when we're talking about BCO, they were inducted into the Hall of Fame a couple years ago.
Yeah. 21.
Could we all stand up, all of you who played on that team, or the next year that came in second? I just want you to stand up. I want to see if we got it. We got it.
Can I sit down now?
No, you stand up. That was, and the same year that we were inducted into the Hall of Fame, Tom Jones was inducted as an athlete. So Tom, I don't know if anybody knows you. Tom's waiting to get his hips replaced as one of the drawbacks of volleyball. Yeah. Just moving along, and I got to get out of here pretty quickly, but when I turned 50, Keith Gallicano was one of those guys that stood up over there, gave me a phone call, and he said, look, Ian, we need a middle blocker in Atlanta. They were playing the US BBA National Championships in the 50 and over category. So that was my first taste of Masters volleyball. And we had 28 teams in the 50 and over category. And Keith and I were playing it, made us produce our birth certificates or passports or something, because they didn't believe we were that young or that old. And that was amazing. And I came back, and then all my friends in Vancouver, a bunch of these guys that stood up, I was telling them about it. And the following year was the World Masters Games in Edmonton that Mike mentioned. And we've got a bunch of guys here that signed up for that team, and we went to Edmonton and played. And then these guys were so enthralled that they played US Nationals Championships probably every year except during COVID. And they played in this global cup in St. George, Utah, which turned into it was a sort of continental cup, it turned into the global cup. We had all these international teams. So that was, those guys are still playing. Not because of knees. But going back to, I'm going to cut this short. A little bit because I'm kind of boring myself. When I talk about coaches, there's a few other coaches out there that are, more recent, that I have great respect for, Bob Smith, Brian Newman, and Paul Mant on the beach. Those are guys that I know. There's like many more as you've seen tonight. So one thing I'm really impressed with the amount of people and the teams and the athletes now. Mike came out here with his friend Scott Murray, who just passed away. And it was amazing because he came out here in that Volkswagen and phoned somebody up, and then he shows up at practice, plays, and then we're lucky enough to have these guys there, but they didn't have a place to sleep, so Keith and I had a house with an extra bedroom, so they spent a few years there. But we were very fortunate to get Mike, because he was the key. The previous year, the guys, the BCO team had gone to the national championships and placed second. But the good guys on the team, like Al and Dave Kepler, they'd all left and gone. And so we totally new group of fun. The Newfelds, Jerry Story, John Marquardt over here, and then Mike and Scott Murray, and Keith, of course. Keith and I came up to UBC and went to play. So it was pretty cool. And I'm going to just flip the page and then get out of here. Yeah, so I'd like to, in conclusion, I'd like to thank Tom Jones for nominating me and laughing at my bad jokes. No, we're not. And those who wrote notes of support, Tom Caverly, Boris Isaac. Boris can't be here with us tonight, I think he's in Hawaii. And Alan Ahak, I don't think Alan's here. And to the Hall of Fame committee. You guys worked so hard. Like, I'm really impressed. Dorothy, Jerry,
And a whole host.
a whole host. Well done. Finally, congratulations to those other inductees tonight. Mike Sayers. Is Diane Murray here tonight? Or is she next year? Fred Winters and Brittany Page. And Big Gala up there is special here. So, thank you.
Pretty branding.
Thank you, Ian. We're moving on to the class of 2025, and as you just mentioned, Diane Murray was selected this year. She is on vacation. I believe she's cruising through Japan. We've mentioned a few people. I aspire to this retired life of fun travel. You mentioned Yu Wong. He says his regrets that he's not here. He's also on travels in China. So I aspire to that retired life with a lot of travel. But so we'll be celebrating Diane next year. And again, just a reminder, the full story, the interviews are all available on Volleyball BC's YouTube channel. So take a good gander, download it, listen to it in the car. There's so many more great stories to be told. So for 2025, our next inductee has been a leader on and off the court. I feel very old because she's the little sister of someone that I played with out of Vernon, BC. So Brittany Page was born in Kelowna, raised in Vernon, a true Okanagan gal. She rose through BC's volleyball ranks before starting at Eastern Washington University, where she led her team to 4 straight conference championships and earned All-American recognition. From 2009 to 2016, she represented Team Canada, competing in over 100 international matches, including 2 World Championships, 2 Pan American Games. After a decade-long professional career that took her to 9 different countries, and when you think about that, that is landing, finding out who your coaches, what language they speak, where to eat, where to buy groceries. It's a lot, 9 countries. Becoming the first Canadian woman to ever play in China's top league. Britt took on the captain role in 2012 until she retired in 2016, just before the national team left Winnipeg moved to Richmond. Otherwise, I would have been your team manager. In numerous reference letters from college and national team coaches and teammates, it's clear that Brittany's a special kind of athlete and leader, one who puts the team above herself and makes everyone around her better. This community focus continues now that Brittany's a big professional, and she founded the first Smash Ball program in the Okanagan, and teaching all our future generations, little 6 to 9-year-olds in the Okanagan, how to fall in love with the sport. So congratulations, Brittany Page.
She was one of those players that, regardless of how you felt and how the team felt that day, whether it was at practice or just like long tournaments, she was always just rallying the troops, always super positive. But she also had that kind of quiet confidence that only some players have, that's kind of contagious, that she's just always working. I just wanted to say congratulations on your induction into Volleyball BC Hall of Fame. It is where you deserve to be. You were such a light to play with going through all of those years. You were just such a special part of Volleyball Canada, and I know that all of our teammates would feel the same way.
I used to play pepper. I used to just, spike it as hard as I could as like 12-year-old, just so that I could get better. And we had this neighbor dog who would go and chase our shanks in the other yards and bring them back around to us, so that's always a fond memory. I keep going back to the competitive Highland dancing. I don't know if you've ever seen Highland dancing competitions, but they are intense. But my sister was just so naturally talented there. She was winning like trophies, she was winning the aggregate trophies for like a whole event at these Scottish Highland games and competitions that she would go to. She was, just naturally competitive. She deserves to be recognized for, all the things that she has done and represented like our country, represented our province, represented our little town for BC. So, I'm really excited that she came inducted into the Hall of Fame. Britt, on behalf of your whole family, you continue to amaze us. I think that's something that we've said over and over again to you. You're an incredible athlete, you're an incredible person, and we're just so proud to have been there beside you during your whole career, and congratulations.
So special, and like when I think of my teams, whether it's Team Canada or Eastern Washington University, I kind of laugh at like the personalities that you have on the team and the camaraderie and the funny ordeals that happen. I again just feel very like privileged and honored that Volleyball BC would think of me and look at my career as a whole as something to be marked in Volleyball BC history. And Volleyball BC is really where it all started.
Tears over at that table, but when you hear these stories and you think of other people that deserve to be in the Hall of Fame, Wall of Distinction, things like that, I would highly recommend you ask her sister Lindsay Page on how to write a nomination, because it was incredible. So do be thinking about keeping nominated next year. So congratulations, Britt, the floor is yours.
I'm truly so humbled to be recognized for a sport that I love so much, especially Volleyball BC, where my journey truly started. First of all, I would like to thank Volleyball BC Selection Committee for this recognition, and congratulations to my fellow inductees and all the Excellence Award winners this evening. There have been so many coaches who have pushed me on and off the court along the way. When I think back to why I started, I was just so captivated from being on a team. I remember my wonderful little grade 8 coach, Lynn McPherson. She was like the cool aunt that you could tell anything to, and she brought a team of little girls together and just gave us sisterhood at such a young, impressionable age, and I really stuck with that. So thank you, Lynn. I also wanted to thank my Vernon Volleyball Club coaches, Chris Densmore, who's here tonight, probably the most thanked person in this room, Carrie Fairweather. We had this this little mismatched team full of talent from like small town Vernon. And you guys really believed in us. They really knew how good we could be. And we came to the big city and we crushed our way to provincial champions. And it was just like out of a movie. If you know Rudy, that's the movie that we aspired to. And he really gave us the gift of self-belief. In my last year of club, I moved over to Kelowna Volleyball Club with none other than Steve Manuel as head coach. Steve has been such a big supporter of mine. From club up to retirement, there's always an open door for me if I want to go coach, if I want to go hang out with this team, if I want to go play with this team. It's been amazing and I so appreciate that. I'm sure there's a lot of you who know Chris and Steve in this room and maybe some stories, but I was just so lucky to have them as coaches and mentors at such a young age, and they're so accomplished now, so thank you guys both. My college coach, Wade Benson, he ran a tight ship, my sister can attest to that. He just had this unwavering pursuit of excellence, and he gave me all the tools and the path forward, and just really left it up to me to take it. And he taught me accountability and resilience, and gave me an experience of a lifetime at Eastern Washington University. My Team Canada coaches, Lupo Ludwig, Scott Koski, thank you for growing me into an international caliber volleyball player, something I never knew was possible. Lupo gave me, here we go. I was crying like when Kyla came on, I was like, I had no chance during this speech. Lupo gave me the opportunity to be a leader on the team, and I'm so grateful for that. It shaped me beyond sport. All my teammates along the way, there's no comparison. Teammates are not like normal friends. They're not sisters, they're not colleagues, and sometimes they feel like your biggest rival. And at any given time, they'll play those roles in your life, and they're just wedged into your life. They're such a gift. I'm so thankful I got to meet and work alongside so many powerful, incredible, driven women. My friends and family, you guys are amazing. Some of my friends have been there from the start to finish and beyond. You guys are always there for the big and small moments. I promise this is the last one. And those friends who I met after volleyball and just helped me out and took me in probably when I needed it most, thank you. My cousin Brady, I miss you. He bought my first flight cross country so I could go try out for youth national team. I've never been so excited to go to Winnipeg. My brother and sister, so stable, always there. Lindsay in particular, thank you for paving the way, tryout after tryout, team after team. I just followed right along. It's really made it really easy for me. And we were lucky enough to be teammates in club and Eastern Washington University. I feel like I share a lot of this with you. Of course, my mom. If you guys know me and my sister, you know my mom. She's the most supportive sport parent a kid could ask for. It seemed effortless, I'm sure it wasn't. There was no pressure and just so much support, giving me every opportunity, not just volleyball, but sewing my dance costumes. Now everybody knows I was a Highland dancer, yes. Taking me to competitions, dropping me at the gyms. My sporty little heart was just always so full. And I do remember like hearing her tell her friends, like, oh, both of my daughters have full scholarships to NCAA Division I Conference Championships team. Isn't that so nice? Yes, Mom, that's so nice. It doesn't happen by accident, so thank you. Again, thank you, Volleyball BC, for this wonderful night. This is an honor in recognizing excellence in our province. Thank you.
Sport mom, it was not effortless. What your mom did was not effortless for sure. Our next inductee is one of the most accomplished athletes to ever wear the maple leaf for Canada in volleyball. Fred Winters is a native of Victoria, and his journey began at Claremont Secondary under Coach Sean Ryan, where his teams captured provincial titles, inspired a generation of young players on the island. He went on to start Pepperdine University, earning All-American honors and setting records that still stand today. Canada from 2003 to 2016, serving as captain at several points, many pivotal points, and competing in more than a decade of international tournaments, more than 250 caps. I don't know how your shoulder ever held up. Including the 2016 Rio Olympic Games where we finished 5th. His professional careers, I love that I added myself in there, I cheered so hard I feel part of the team. His professional career spanned the globe from France and Russia and China and Brazil and beyond, earning respect everywhere he played and winning several league titles. His career is a testament to excellence and perseverance in BC and internationally. And for me, your matches against Argentina were some of the most nail-biting, riveting matches, and thank you for entertaining us for so many years and representing us so well on the international stage. So quick video and then credits return.
He always played up at least a year, and the guy was a stud. And it was quite cool because he was this young kid playing with the older guys all the time. And off the court he was goofy and fun, and like I said, this curiosity that was kind of infectious. But kids looked up to him, opponents looked up to him. I mean, he was fun to watch. And I want to say big appreciation to Volleyball BC for inducting Fred. He's definitely a worthy candidate and a pretty exciting player.
Volleyball's gotten me everything in life. Like I'll talk to people today, they'll talk about, oh, I traveled here and I traveled there and it was so great. And I get to say, well, I lived there. And it happens over and over again in my personal life. People brag about taking their 2-week vacation to Lisbon. And I was like, yeah, I lived there for 2 years in Italy and all that. So volleyball's really given me a lot. And it started at the grassroots level with club volleyball in BC and building that foundation and love.
So a big round of applause for Brendan.
All right, what an incredibly easy group of inductees to follow. But I got like 2 minutes left for my speech. It's going to be a gratitude speech here. First of all, thanks to Volleyball BC for inducting me, inviting me, putting on a great event. This is awesome. It's good. A lot of familiar faces, a lot of unfamiliar faces too that I haven't met, but it's nice to connect. Ron Green. I don't even know who Ron Green is, and I know he's an island guy, but he has put together the induction package for me. So big thank you to Ron Green. The guy in the video was named, the guy who was speaking, my high school coach, Sean Ryan. A dream of mine was to get inducted at the same time. I really think he's deserving. 30 years of coaching high school volleyball. As many of you know in here, it's not a compensated position. It's equity, time spent with the kids, and Sean is an exemplary person, and I really hope that he gets in the volleyball, BC Volleyball Hall of Fame one day. And yeah, since I stopped playing volleyball and reflect on all the people that, you know, I play volleyball with and watch, I just want to take a moment to anyone who's coached club or coached high school, really just, if we could just give each other a pat on the back, because I really know that it takes a lot of time, and I realized that after I was done my career, so I know it's almost everyone in here. It's a hard thing to do, I know, giving up your personal time for the kids, but it does start. What started for me was Sean. I'm just going to run through a laundry list of people I just want to thank, and I could go on and talk about myself, but I don't really want to do that. I do want the group to know that despite what you see on stage, I did have a 40-inch vertical. Not anymore. Jake, can you confirm? Okay, thank you. So Sean was my first very important coach. The other coach, she ran White Rock Volleyball Club. A lot of you love her or hate her. I don't know. Sharon Erickson, now Carter. She's awesome. She really kickstarted my career because what she would do is bring all these talented kids from around the province, and she would take them down to California and play against the big boys. And she took me down there multiple times, and I really believe that's how I got recruited to go to university. So thank you to Sharon. I think she's probably playing pickleball in Arizona or something. Next up, well, basically I got recruited down to Pepperdine from going in those tournaments with teams from White Rock Volleyball Club. So I was super grateful to Sharon. When I started getting recruited, I did a visit to Pepperdine, which is an awesome university, and NCAA Division I volleyball gives 4.5 scholarships, Title IX, we don't want to get into that, but they're kind of don't have a lot of scholarships, and I have to give a big thank you to my mom, who was on the trip with me, and they wanted to, you know, offer me some sort of scholarship, and she said, well, it has to be a full scholarship. They can't afford to go here. This is California. It's $50 grand US a year. It's just a non-starter. So they gave me a full scholarship. So thanks to my mom. She's in. She's not here. She's in Egypt. She wanted to cancel her trip. I said, no, that's a trip of a lifetime. Don't cancel it. Takes me to Pepperdine. You heard him in the video, Mark Dunphy, and this just goes over and over again in my career. I was just touched, metaphorically, by these coaches. I just was really fortunate to come in contact with all these great coaches, including Mark Dunphy, Olympic gold medalist, and when I was a young, up-and-coming volleyball player, the best thing that you could have is important people in your life. So Sean, Sharon, Mark Dunphy was just one of the best humans I've ever met, and if you've met him, you'll know, and everyone has the same opinion of him. He still calls me a couple times a year. This is 25 years later, and he always just checks in, always asking how my family's doing. So he's just created this culture of men and good people at Pepperdine, so I'm forever thankful to him. Moving on, Stelio DeRocco. Actually, I was reflecting on my speech, and I just realized I played 14 years with the national team, and I only had 2 national team coaches, which is incredible. If you know European teams, they swap out those coaches all the time. So I had Stelio. Thankful to Stelio. He gave me the confidence. He brought me on the national team when I was 20 years old, and actually took me to Japan for 6 weeks to play in the World Cup, so I missed school, which is great. I missed almost a full semester of school. But he really gave me the confidence that I could play on the big stage. He had played in Italy for a long time, and I have to give him a lot of credit, because he just, you know, when you're young, and I was still in university playing against all the best players in the world in these World Cup and Pan Am games and stuff, and he just stuck me on the court and he said, we're doing it, let's go. And he gave me the bravado, and so a big shout out to Stelio. Great character and unbelievable volleyball player in his heyday. Moving on, I know I might be going on, but There's a guy, he's in Italy, no one will even know who he is, but his name is Pietro Scarduzio, another coach that just helped me tremendously, and I played for him my second year of professional, and he pretty much launched me into what I became with the national team and internationally, and it was really just about skill development and giving me the confidence. And so big shout out to Pietro. He'll never see this or know about it, but I really respect him. Only a couple more things on here. Glenn Hogue, a name that you guys all know. Unbelievable coach, leader. He really brought the program to the forefront. A big part of it was getting funding for us as athletes to play in World League every year, which, if you don't know, in volleyball, World League is a big thing. You travel around the world for 6 weeks and play all the best teams in the summer, and I didn't get to do that a lot at the beginning of my career, but I got to do it a bunch at the end, and it just really helped our national team develop. Glenn was a leader, and he was my coach for 13 years on the national team. He made me captain. We had a lot of trying times, and we went through a lot of tough losses, but I remember there's a lot of moments where just intimate moments between me and him. And, he's just a great guy, and I respect him a lot. I'm very grateful for my career. I know half the room doesn't. There's so many young people in the room, they don't even know any of these things, but fantasy football, fantasy basketball, I just, you're shooting the shit with your buddies, talking about, back in the day who you played with, who you played against. And I really believe that my fantasy volleyball team with guys that I played with is the best team ever assembled. And I don't say that to mean that I would be playing, I would be on the deep, deep bench. But just my experiences overseas, all the great teams I got to play with, I just think my fantasy team is the best. So I just want to give a shout out to my teammates, and once again, just really fortunate to play on these great teams. I played 15 years of pro. I won 8 championships. I won a World Club Championship. Just really lucky. My wife and I talked about this in the room as I was preparing this afternoon. Another big thing is availability, and your best ability is availability. And again, I don't know how this happened, but I went through my entire career with 0 surgeries, 0 major injuries, and yes, there's a lot to do with weight training and keeping yourself in shape and taking care of your body, but there is luck in ball playing. You land on someone's foot and tear your ACL and you're done for a year. That never happened to me, so once again, there's a luck theme coming in. Like there's a lot of luck involved. I know there's a lot of great players that didn't reach their potential because they tore their ACL and never could recover. So again, I'm very thankful for that. Yeah, I played on the national team so long, I tried to qualify for the Olympics 4 times. And the Olympics are once every 4 years. I failed 3 times. I was cut from the team on my last attempt to qualify for the Olympics. The team went to a qualifier in Japan, and Glenn didn't take me. He just didn't think I was ready. He didn't think I was in shape or whatever it would be, and he said, look, we're going to go, and I just don't think I can take you right now. I don't know if I was battling some sort of minor injury, not major, and I didn't go with the team to Japan to the qualifier. They qualified first time in, since '92, qualified for the 2016 Olympics, and he said, all right, because we were a well-funded team, we were playing World League, and he said, all right, let's go, let's see what you got. You have a World League circuit, so 6-8 weeks to prove to make the team. And I remember my family was there, my wife and my mom, because we were playing the World League finals in Portugal, and after that tournament, he was going to announce the Olympic roster. It was a very big deal because you travel with 14 and only 12 players can go. So you spend your whole career 14-man roster going around the world, and then you qualify for the biggest event, and the coach, man, it must have been brutal for Glenn. He had to cut the roster down even more. And I'll just never forget that I walked in the room, and I won't share what he said with me or what happened after, but I made the team, which was a big relief for me because it was a lifelong goal, and just a really, like, we paraphrased it, really it's just like, I had a great career, and the Olympics was not my end goal because it was such a far off in the distance thing for Canada to qualify. That's how uncommon, or we tried our best, but it was just not something that I associated myself with, but then I got it and I made it, and it is a really big deal. And I was really proud to represent Canada. And I really just, we likened it to just like, I had a great career and I'm very thankful, and going to the Olympics was like a really, just a cherry on just like an incredible Dairy Queen Sunday. It was just like that, so it was just a really great treat. Lastly, my wife Shanti, who is a volleyball player herself. I just want to thank her for being my partner for the last 15, 20 years. We met at a house party in Winnipeg, and I had long hair, and little 18-year-old, maybe 19, came up to me and asked me if I conditioned, and that was her opening line. And just grabbed me, sucked me in right there. So we met, and we weren't together from that point on, but we have had a wonderful life together, and I just really want to thank her for putting her own personal life on hold to travel the world with me for 12, 13 years, you know, Portugal, Brazil, China. Her first stop was in Russia, which was pretty rough, but I just really want to say thank you to her for being the best partner ever, and I love the work.
Very good.
When Fred was mentioning the luck of not having injuries, you know, I think of Michael Jordan, and then I just remembered Fred's notorious or famous for his shoe game. So I'm wondering if he wore a lot of Jordans and didn't get injured. I'm wondering if I should deck my kids out in Jordans all the time. Maybe that's the lucky thing. So
That's the answer for sure.
that's it? Okay, it's the shoes. It's the shoes. So our last inductee for the evening, you've been an incredible audience. I just love how the room gets silent when the inductees are coming up here, and how great have you been. We've been here for a while, and I really appreciate it. As someone who loves history, loves stories, I think that you've been an incredible audience who really understands the importance of tonight, and you've been very patient, so thank you. Our final inductee is fondly remembered by teammates and friends as the late Alan Kostiak. Originally from Flin Flon, Manitoba, Al's story truly began after moving to BC when he was discovered during a local match and selected for the 1975 Canada Games team. That team went on to win gold without dropping a set, and Al scored the championship's final point. He went on to represent Canada at the World Cup, World Championships, and Pan American Games, captaining the national team and earning bronze at the 1979 Pan Ams. After his playing career, Al built a successful business and became a passionate advocate for volleyball, supporting youth clinics, introducing the volleyball to schools across Canada, and helping to establish the CIS All-Star Awards and national rankings. He's been described as charismatic, generous, and driven, and his leadership on and off the court left a lasting legacy in Canadian volleyball. On behalf of Al, I'd like like to invite Pam Koscheck and Tom Jones, once we watch our video, to accept this award. We'll hold applause until after the video.
Anybody that ever met Al will always remember the first time they met him. Al is a bigger-than-life personality. I think I met him at a gym where he was trying out for the BC provincial team. And he walked in and you instantly knew Al was in the gym. He was bigger than most people, probably louder than most people, but a heck of a player, made an impact on everybody that he met. I would just say I think it's a really well-deserved honor. Al has done a lot for volleyball. He was a guy who gave a lot and he achieved a lot. I'm tickled by the fact that he's being inducted, and I think it'll be a chance to revisit some memories of a guy that made a big impact on people and had a great heart, and was one of those passionate, charismatic, controversial guys that I think finds a good place in the Hall of Fame and is a very deserving candidate.
I think in Al's estimation, if anything was worth doing, from volleyball-related activities to the businesses that he started in the Lower Mainland after he finished volleyball, he dotted his I's and he crossed his T's, and he did so with determination. So he was that sort of guy on the court, very achievement-oriented, very directed, a strong personality. So if you had a strong personality yourself, sometimes you didn't get along with Al all that well initially, just because strong personalities sometimes don't. But you grew to love the guy for what he brought to the table, either personally, athletically, and in every other way. So I love the guy. A great partner, a great husband. He was a great teammate, and we're just really happy that he can be a part of this, Pam can be a part of it, and by extension, Tom and I can be a part of it as well as all of you at the Volleyball BC Hall of Fame, all the people that attend.
Al was, I call him sort of restlessly ambitious. He arrived in BC out of nowhere, telling me, I distinctly remember the first phone call when he called to, because he was interested in our team. So we thought, okay, this is a real guy, and if he's been recommended by Vic, we'll come down. And then he walks in the door and he's 6'4", and we were mighty pleased. Oh, it's a tragedy that he would be supporting all this stuff big time if he was here, and I think it's undeniable.
Hey everyone, I'll kick it off here. Thanks for your patience. It's been a long evening, but I really appreciate your attention. First of all, I want to congratulate everybody that was inducted tonight. Hall of Fame members, Excellence Awards winners, coaches, athletes. Just so proud of all of you, all of your accomplishments, your contributions. That's what's made Volleyball BC really what it is today. And I also want to acknowledge other Hall of Fame members who are in the room. People like the indomitable Dick Lindell in the corner, Greg Russell, Keith Gallicano, so many others in the room here. It's just a real pleasure to be here with all of you. Some of you come from pretty far distance away, Keith being probably a good example of that, so big thanks for it. And it's nice to be together in person. It's been a while, so this is really a real pleasure. I'd like to personally thank Volleyball BC and the Hall of Fame Committee, really just for the opportunity to think about and to now talk about my friend and my teammate, Al Koscheck. A guy we knew as Big Al. Everybody in the room that knew Al, he was Big Al, and he was big. Took up a lot of space and all of it good. It's been 10 years since Al passed away. Actually, 10 years next week, I believe. Yeah, next Saturday, November the 15th. And it's been 50 years since I first saw Big Al walk into the gym at Marpole Community Center. Greg, you'll remember that community center. At a Team BC tryout camp. And Al didn't just walk in, he strode in very confidently, like he owned the place. That was Al Bust. He was truly an unforgettable character. He was large and in charge, we used to call him Big Al. He was a terrific athlete. He was a dominant middle blocker, and surprisingly, not unlike Greg Russell, he was a really good passer. In those days, we didn't specialize a lot, so it was kind of like he was a good passer and he would come into football. And he was a ferocious competitor. Al played at every level, from the NCAA, he played in BYU for a number of years. He played with us at the Team BC program, he won a Canada Games gold medal. He played in the CIS, which is now U Sports. He played with Tom Graham, and unfortunately Tommy can't be here tonight, but Tom was a nominator for Al, and played at University of Victoria. He played club ball for a couple of years at BCO, I think it was, after his national team career. But he was a really interesting guy, as Ray Myrtle will tell you. Al was determined to be as good a player as he could possibly be. So he went to Japan, and he spent a couple of months with a Japanese club team and trained under some pretty major coaches over there. And made the national team. He was on the national team for 3 or 4 years anyway. Many of those years were as captain, so you can see some leadership ability there that Al had. And Al was a trailblazer. Now, Freddie, it's really interesting to hear the travels you had. You had a ton. And one of the very first Canadians that ever went overseas to play volleyball was Al. He got a job in Rome, Italy. He used to smuggle money out in his we didn't have, I guess they weren't wiring money back, or Al didn't trust them, so he actually come back with lira or dollars in his bag or down his pants or something. But that was Al. He would find a way. But he was a trailblazer. But what really made Al special was, I think, was his ability to dream big dreams. This guy was a big, big dreamer. And he was able to bring people along with him. Al always saw the possible in things. He always would ask, he always say to us, well, why not? Like, why not us? Why can't we do that? To me, he was one of the most optimistic and certainly confident guys that I had ever met. He was a natural leader. He was one of those teammates that we've all had, Brittany, you've had him, Betty, you've had him, that would hold you accountable, and he would push you, but he would do it in such a way that he'd make you better. He'd probably piss you off at the same time, but he would find a way to make you better. And Al expected excellence, and he wouldn't ask you to do anything that he wouldn't do himself, and I always thought that was admirable. He would do the work. This is the part where I like to talk about this part, because I was a setter, and Al was a middle hitter, and he was a very aggressive middle hitter. And any setters in the room, you know that you want to have somebody that wants the ball, like, all the time. And that was Al. Like, he demanded the ball most of the time, and you kind of felt bad not giving it to him. But he was a very aggressive player. I absolutely loved playing with Al. And believe me, I'd rather play with Al than play against him. He was very, very competitive, very aggressive, very in your face, but in a good way. Al applied a lot of the lessons that he learned in sport to his career. Things like, and I can hear him saying this stuff, have a vision, plan it out, be passionate about your work, go the extra mile, and be professional. He ran his businesses, he always talked about being professional. And Al went on to build businesses and relationships throughout the world, and many of them were in volleyball, so I think we benefited a lot from Al's wisdom and Al's expertise and his experience. What I liked about Al was he really believed in dreams, and along with his wife Pam, he worked tirelessly to make them a reality. He was supremely organized and supremely prepared, and he was a great communicator. And as many of you who know Al will recall, Al kept everybody completely informed of his battle, his own personal and very courageous battle. He was a very loyal, generous friend, a very charismatic guy. With Big Al, his enthusiasm was absolutely contagious, and when Al loved something, like, he was all in. He literally would vibrate. He was so excited about something. He was just one of those guys. He loved to entertain, he loved to golf, and he loved to laugh. And most of the time he laughed at himself, because he was always doing things that would make not only us laugh, but make himself laugh. He was a very playful kind of kid. But one thing he really did is he loved volleyball. He absolutely loved volleyball. He loved the sport, he loved the competitive aspect of volleyball, and he loved the community. So he would love to have been here today. Alex excelled at the highest levels of volleyball, and he gave back when his career was over. So for that reason, he's a most deserving inductee to the Hall of Fame, and I'm so glad that he's receiving this prestigious honor. So I want to say thank you to Volleyball BC for that, and also for the chance to talk about my unforgettable friend Al tonight. Thank you. I'm going to ask Pam to come forward and say a few words. Pam?
Thank you, John. This is incredibly hard for me to stand up here, so we'll try and keep it together. First of all, thank you, Volleyball BC and the Hall of Fame Selection Committee. It is an incredible honor, and Alan would be absolutely thrilled to be here tonight. I'm sure he's here in spirit. We can all feel him at all times. And to be recognized in this honor by all of his peers is the ultimate. I'm so pleased to be able to be here and accept this honor on his behalf. I want to do a special thank you to both Tom Jones and Tom Graham for all the work they did in his nomination. We shared a lot of stories and had a lot of laughs again. And it's so great to see so many of you guys here again tonight. You guys are the best. Thank you very much.
Thumbs up? Okay, all right.
So I have no more note cards, so that must mean we're done. So Jake, you're sticking around here. Thanks so much. I know for our young athletes, our team of the year there, it's a little bit past their bedtime. I know it's but they said they were going to stay the whole night because they have to drive their parents home who maybe had a couple of drinks. So I look forward to that time when my daughters grow up and can take care of me. So thank you. It was my honor to be here tonight, and we have final words from Jake.
Thank you, yeah. A little bit. I did want to say, we talked about, you heard a lot about up here, connections, coaches and teammates. And I did want to recognize the young athletes. I think it says something about coaches like Sarah, that we get these young athletes here listening to these old war stories until 10 o'clock at night on a Saturday. So why don't we do together? So, you know, I just want to, a couple things surprised me tonight. You heard Fred up here, you heard about Fred's career and all the stuff that he accomplished. You know, NCAA star, professional athlete, Olympian. But I just want you to keep in mind as you leave here that probably the highlight of Fred's career was winning a gold medal at the 2001 Canada Summer Games in London, Ontario. I was a member of that team, but objectively speaking, I think you would put that probably at the peak of Fred's career. And Britt actually was also at that Summer Games, but she wasn't on my team, so everything that you went on to accomplish was much higher and greater than that. Listen, a huge thank you and round of applause to everybody who made this happen. We have such an incredible staff at Volleyball BC, but I really want to just say a quick thanks to people in particular: Chelsea, Andrea, Leslie, and Brett. Absolutely incredible amount of work, and I just thought tonight was an incredible evening. Last, I think, sorry, I was supposed to come up here with that, but I'll go and grab it after I say this. Huge thank you to MC Extraordinaire, right? Chrissy, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. You want to take our picture? We haven't been here long enough. We'll do another picture.
Didn't take a picture for a whole minute, guys.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
And we're getting close here, guys. Listen, to everybody here, thank you so much for celebrating with us. 50, what are we, 60 or 50? 60 years. 60 years of Volleyball's BC, 10 years of the Hall of Fame. It's been a great night. Thank you guys all so much. Get home safe.
Ian.